inside your heart. You don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the soul that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. It's a long road, and you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. Oh, dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Hold on, there will be tomorrow. In time, you'll find the way. That hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you. That a hero lies in you. At 109 Berry Street in Morwell, a woman lived life deeply intertwined with her community for more than 65 years. Her heart belonged to her husband, a love that now continues as they are reunited. Her family grew with children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and even great-great-grandchildren. Her love of shopping was as much about the social interaction as it was about her impeccable sense of style, always perfectly matched from head to toe. Today we celebrate that life. I speak, of course, of Charlotte Jane Hinshelwood. It is gathering as family and friends when faced with the painful task of saying goodbye that brings strength and comfort. And so on behalf of those who love Charlotte, I warmly welcome you as we honour and indeed celebrate her life. Whether you're in the chapel with us or joining us via live stream, Love knows no time nor distance, so your love surrounds Charlotte regardless of where you are, and your presence is greatly appreciated. My name is Robin O'Connell from Silver Celebrants, and along with Cherie and her colleagues from Bremba Family Funerals, we feel very privileged to have been asked to conduct this service for you. While dementia presented its own challenges in recent years, it is important to remember that that does not define Charlotte's whole story. Yet it can be easy to only think of her in that way because these are your most recent memories and come easiest to mind. But today I'm going to ask you to look beyond recent years and to remember Charlotte as the full of life, caring, loving mum, Nana Charlotte that she was. When someone has lived to such a grand age, we tend to think and hope they will be here forever. At 93, many would say that Charlotte did lead a long and fulfilled life, and while this is certainly true, is there ever a right time to lose someone who is such an integral part of a family? A mother is the nucleus, a connector, and there'll be some here today who will not remember life without her presence. Suddenly there's a gap that will be eventually filled with love and memories of her, but for now it can feel like a void that will never be filled. Days like today are important. They make you put aside whatever it was you were going to do to enable you to not just say goodbye, but to be with each other, to share stories and reminisce about the times you spent with Charlotte. Because as David Kessler wrote, we are not the same to each person we love, each person we know, or even each person we briefly meet. And this is so true. Each of you had your own unique relationship with Charlotte, and she will remain forever a part of you. This is why getting together is so important. Sharing stories and reminiscing is like applying a balm to an open wound. It won't miraculously heal it, but it will make it feel better, even if just for a short time. So talk about Charlotte or Nan or whatever you knew her as. Say her name and let tears flow if they need to. Be kind to each other and just listen, even if you hear the same stories over and over again. Of course, it is her family who will miss Charlotte most of all. It has to be said that Charlotte did more than her fair share of contributing to Australia's population. From 2 children, Pauline, who had 5 children, Nadine, Bryony, Kim, Cassandra, who died before her, and Skye, and Peter, who had Jason, Tara, Matthew, Mariki, and Reese. From her 10 grandchildren, many of whom will remember sleepovers and receiving presents in the mail, they in turn produced over 30 great-grandchildren, and some of them even went on to having children themselves, making her a great-great-grandmother. Yet how can we ever really know the amount of people that Charlotte knew over her lifetime? From those she grew up with, worked with, neighbours, some of who became like family, through to the Morwell community where everyone knew her, as well as in more recent times, the community of Craigcare. It is impossible to ever know how many people will be saddened to hear of her passing. Just for a moment, before we take a look at Charlotte's life, I would ask you to think about the world she entered compared to the one she left. Charlotte was born into the depths of the Great Depression, and times were tough. At the end of the year of her birth in 1931, the 2 ends of the Sydney Harbour Bridge were joined. She lived through World War II as a child from when she was only 8 years old until she was 13. Rationing of things like petrol, butter, and so many things are hard for us of the younger generations to even comprehend. When Charlotte was born, King George V was the monarch, and she's seen 5 since then, keeping in mind Queen Elizabeth II reigned for over 70 years. When Charlotte was young, there were no refrigerators, washing machines, or televisions. In fact, she didn't even have a TV until she was almost 40. No microwaves, dishwashers, air conditioning, or central heating. Man walking on the moon was fantasy. And now we have space travel that's so common, it doesn't even make the news anymore, unless, of course, they're stuck in space. Then there is technology, where everything going on in the world is at our fingertips, and we can't imagine life without it. It's the very reason people can be with us today in Queensland. Indeed, the world Charlotte entered was a very different one to the one that she left. So let's now go back to where it all began. It was in Gore Hill, a suburb of Sydney, that Charlotte and Norm Olsen welcomed their twin girls, Charlotte, then known as Lottie, and Alice, on July the 1st, 1931. As you can imagine, as first-time parents, twins certainly kept them busy. The family moved to Victoria, and growing up in Port Melbourne, Lottie and Alice went to school, and as most did at the time, when schools went to the equivalent of a year 8, they left and went to work. As their mother was a talented seamstress who would sew all the time, it seemed natural that the girls would follow in her footsteps. They were very gifted in the craft. Alice would make the garments, and then Charlotte would do all the beading on them. Imagine all that hand sewing of tiny beads and sequins. Charlotte told the story of a beautiful dress they'd made, both working their magic, and their boss was so impressed with the garment and how beautiful it was, he actually offered them to take it. They declined. Truth be known, they were probably sick to the sight of it after many hours of intricate and such detailed work. However, they were surprised and pretty chuffed to see it on a dress model in the Myer window the very next day. Both Charlotte and Alice were keen runners. They were involved in athletics club, where a certain young man by the name of Jack Ernest Hinchelwood was also a member. It didn't take too long for Charlotte to realise that she had met the love of her life. We have to keep in mind here that we're talking about the 1950s, where standards are very different to today. So when Charlotte discovered she was pregnant, they pretty much married straight away at the Holy Trinity Church in Port Melbourne on October 3, 1953. They honeymooned in Tasmania, no Phuket back then. When Pauline arrived just 7 months later at a tiny 4 pounds, it was easy to get away with the story that she was born prematurely. How different life is today, right? Having both lived at home until their wedding, Charlotte and Jack stayed the first 12 months half and half with each of their parents until they were offered a commission house in Dunbar Avenue, Morwell. While it was a long way away in those days without the highways and good roads we have today, it was an area they liked, and no sooner had they settled there than Peter arrived. Although his mum didn't quite make it inside the hospital, rather he was born on the steps outside. Charlotte and Jack were soon able to buy their own house in Very Street, and Charlotte set about making it a home to raise their family in. For over 65 years she lived in that home. If those walls could talk, what a tale they would tell. While raising their family over the years, they welcomed many pets into their lives. Charlotte was particularly fond of Pudgy the cat, as well as Scruffy, who she inherited when Pauline could no longer have it where she was living. There were her dogs, such as a Shih Tzu called Casper, but it has to be said that there was a fine line between her love for her poodle Pierre and the long-haired Jack Russell, Snoopy. Although they lived in different places, the twins would always catch up each Easter, with either Alice and Ron going to Morwell or Charlotte and Jack going to Mount Beauty. Her family recalled how for their 50th birthday, they got together to celebrate, and both, quite separately mind you, bought exactly the same outfit, even to the bags they carried. They were often in sync like that. There was a time that Alice was stung by a bee, and they worked out later, at the very same time, Charlotte had fallen into a gutter. So we can understand that even though they didn't see each other all that often, Alice's passing 8 years ago was tough for Charlotte. Only another twin can understand the bond they shared. We shouldn't be surprised to learn that given her love of athletics when she was young, Charlotte loved to watch the Olympic Games. Even the Winter Olympics would have her enthralled, watching the ice skating, particularly with Torvill and Dean. That being said, a sport of a slightly different nature did get a look in, the Edinburgh Tattoo. No sooner had Charlotte blinked than her own children were having children. But there was a dilemma. as Pauline was due to give birth in the middle of what was to be their trip of a lifetime. 6 months travelling around Europe for Jack's long service leave. They asked Pauline if she wanted them to cancel, but that wasn't going to happen. Pauline told them to go. So off they went. It really did turn out to be the trip of a lifetime. They bought an RV and after a while started meeting the same people who soon became friends. Some of them were locals and he invited them to visit when they were in their part of the country, which they did. On their return, they talked about it for years after. And Charlotte's favourite place? Singapore on their stopover. Why? Because of a little monkey in a jacket. It was actually while Jack and Charlotte were in Europe that they got the news that Nadine had arrived. They immediately sent a telegram. For those of the younger generation, they were like a text message but printed and usually delivered by a young boy on a bike. No FaceTime or Skype back then. With the time difference, it was actually only the 24th. So they would tell everyone that they knew Nadine was born the day before she arrived. She would be 3 months old before they'd finally meet her. Ironically, about 17 years later, Nadine would actually live with them while she was studying for her VCE, as they lived closer to her school. Neighbours of many years' standing were Lisa and Joe. Their friendship was so strong that even Charlotte and Jack's grandchildren called them Oma and Opa. But it was no different with the rest of the community, really. Just ask anyone who took Charlotte shopping. To do a 10-minute shop would take at least an hour. After all, she had to stop and talk to everyone along the way. To keep themselves fit, Charlotte and Jack joined a group to do ballroom dancing on a regular basis. It was a great way to exercise, but still be able to have an enjoyable afternoon with friends as well. It's difficult as you age to see those you've had important relationships with you die. That's what happens when you live a long life. Yet even after Jack's passing in 2009, Charlotte still picked herself up and got on with life. She was very much of the belief, it is what it is. But it must have been hard with so many people, her twin sister, her neighbours, those who were nearest and dearest to slowly go, leaving her behind. Of course, she still had the love and support of her family, but there was no one left of her generation that she was close to. Who knows when dementia takes over a person's life? At first, it's forgetfulness, something we can all be guilty of. Having been diagnosed with early onset dementia 3.5 years ago, it became obvious that Charlotte could no longer manage in her home, and the heartbreaking decision had to be made for her to go into care. However, as it turns out, this was a good move. Once she found out that she could take her precious things with her, Charlotte was happy to go and stay in respite and easily transitioned into becoming a permanent resident. She became involved in everything that was happening at Craig Care. Granted, playing for bingo for chocolates and crisps was a little different than what she was used to, but bingo was bingo. While aged care staff are not meant to have favourites, it was easy to see that Charlotte won the hearts of most of them. She never got grumpy, always happy to see anyone. She really immersed herself in that community in the same way she had done for all those years in Morwell. It's true the last 6 months saw her eating in her own room, doing her favourite thing, watching TV. The appeal of going to the dining room once her dear friend became unwell and died was less appealing. But she was happy. She'd always loved watching The Box, as it used to be called back then. The Bold and the Beautiful was still a favourite. She even had Jack watching it when he was alive, and also asking the family to keep them up to date on the Forresters while they were away on their trip in Europe. How much she understood didn't matter. She loved watching anyway. Family visits and phone calls provided her with welcome company and a happy way to pass the time. While she had faced the challenges of dementia in her latter years, and as much as watching Charlotte decline was difficult, there were lots of many beautiful, light-hearted moments in there too. Like when she explained that she was exhausted because she just got back from a holiday that day. When asked where she had gone, she looked at Nadine as if she was an idiot because she should have known. And then there were times when she would talk about how her mum and dad would come to visit her. And she explained how when she was with Prince William and Princess Kate and their children, she spoke to their Charlotte and told her that her name was Charlotte too. When her journey came to an end on April the 3rd, 2025, it is important to remember a woman whose life was rich in love, happiness, and family. She embraced a simple existence and chose never to rush. And while she faced the challenges of dementia in her latter years, her presence shaped the lives of so many. There is no doubt that Charlotte will be missed. Her legacy lives on in her 2 children, her 10 grandchildren, and the large family she helped create in great-grandchildren and continues on in great-great-grandchildren. I'm going to share with you now a tribute from Pauline, and then we're going to hear from Nadine. So this is Pauline's. Hello, everyone. When Mum and Auntie Alice were born, Auntie Alice told me that she had to push Mum out. Sunday roast lunch, Mum would be cooking it and Mr. Rippy would come along and Dad would go out and get all of us ice cream. Mum was not happy, but she ate her ice cream. One day when she was cooking a roast, well, she thought it was a roast. When Peter came home from school, she said to Peter, "The meat won't go brown." She was trying to roast a corn silverside. Mum's driving was not the best, but it got her to where she wanted to be. She was a stubborn person until the grandkids came along. When Nadine was clearing out the garage, she found my old doll's pram. Mum had kept it all this time. Mum's dad had made it. Mum liked to go to bingo, and one day I took Mum and she only played one book. She had to go to the toilet, so I played her book for her. When she came back and sat down, I yelled out, "Bingo!" and Mum won the $500. She was so excited. At Nadine and David's wedding, Mum's twin Alice said to me that she would like to take me on a boat cruise. And Auntie Alice said and pointed to Mum, "I'm not taking her." Everybody just laughed. Today is my birthday, and today I say goodbye. Love you, Mum, Pauline. And now we're going to hear from Nadine.
A letter to a Nan from her granddaughter. Dear Nan, as I sit here in room 12 at Craig Care Berwick, I find myself writing this letter to you while you rest. I know you can hear me even though you haven't woken up the past few days. I wanted to write this while you are still with me because you've always been with me in ways I could never fully express. So in a way, you're helping me write the hardest letter I've ever had to write. And as I write this, I'm reading it aloud to you. So this is the second time you've heard these words from your granddaughter. Nan, you have been more than just the best grandmother. You've been a constant source of inspiration. Your love was always unconditional, never judging, and you taught me the most important values of all, the love and strength of family. Because of you, I've passed those values on to my own children. Family truly is everything, and you showed me that every day. I've had the privilege of having you as my Nan for 47 years, and I'm forever grateful for that. So many people lose their grandparents much earlier, and I've been blessed to have had you in my life for this long. But even now, I find myself wondering, what do I do without you? How am I supposed to go on my life when you've always been such an integral part of it? Not only have you been the best Nan, but you've also been the most wonderful great-grandmother to my 3 children. They've been lucky to have you in their lives, and I know they'll carry your lessons with them forever. I want to thank you for everything you did for me. It was so much, more than words can capture. I remember so many moments that I'll always hold dear. I remember one evening when you, Grandad, and I were eating dinner together. Instead of grabbing the sauce, Grandad accidentally poured lemonade all over his food. We all laughed so much, but then you made him finish his dinner anyway. Your sense of humour and love for each other made every moment memorable. The Bold and the Beautiful, how could I forget? That was your favourite show at 4:30 every afternoon. It was always time to be quiet and let you enjoy your program in peace. I also remember living with you during my VCE years. Every morning you'd have my breakfast ready, you'd pack my lunch for the day. You even slipped in a $5 note just in case I needed more food. And when I'd come home from school, there'd always be a snack waiting, not just for me, but for the friends I'd bring over, who eventually all started calling you Nan too. Even now, they still ask about you and say, "How's Nan?" The one thing that brings me comfort in all of this is knowing that you are now reunited with the loved ones you've lost. Most of all, I can imagine the joy you must have felt when you were finally back in Granddad's arms after 16 years. I can almost see him giving you the biggest, warmest hug, and I know you're together again in peace. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the amazing staff at Craig Care Berwick for the exceptional care they've given you over the past 3.5 years. I know you were always happy there, and it brings me comfort to know you were surrounded by kindness and compassion. If you looked up the word family in the dictionary, I'm certain there'd be a picture of you beside it, because that's exactly what you were, the heart of our family. You embodied the love that never fades and the sense of belonging that never ends. Family begins with you, Nan, and it will continue to live in all of us. When my time comes, I know I'll be reunited with you in heaven. I will love you forever and always and never forget you. Please give Grandad a big hug from me. Goodbye for now, Nan. You'll forever be in my heart with all my love, Nadine. Okay, now I have a little something from Bryony. You were the greatest Nan I could ever ask for. You were always there for us no matter what it was. You were always caring and kind to everyone. I want to thank you for everything you've ever done for me whilst I was growing up. I appreciate everything. You will be missed dearly by myself and so many others that knew you. Until we meet again, Nan, I love you so much. Kyra.
I just wanted to share some small funny things about Nan. So everyone would always call her Nan, even if she wasn't their Nan. To everybody, she was just always Nan. Nan used to have a blue car. It didn't have power steering, and everyone always wondered how she didn't have massive muscles because it was always so hard to drive. Nan always used to ask how to use her phone. Mum got her a senior phone where the numbers were massive and she still couldn't understand how to use it or see the numbers, even when it had really big answer and decline buttons. We would always bring KFC for lunch every second Sunday, and she always looked forward to her Kentucky Fried Chicken. If we had leftovers, the bucket of the chicken would always go in the microwave. It would never go in the fridge. She would heat it up the next day and the day after that. Mum recalled that the first time she got drunk, Pa brought her back home to the house and Nan said, "Jack, get her a bucket and towel and let her be." Thanks. Nan would always make myself wind up her clock every single time I came over every fortnight. And let me tell you that was a mission to wind up. I got very sore arms. I recall when Alex and I were younger, Nan took us to Lake Tyers. Nan gave Alex too much chocolate, and on the way home, Alex was very sick and was throwing up the chocolate in the car. Before Nan got too old, we would always come over on our fortnightly visits, and we would always come over to a home-cooked roast for a lot of us. Yeah, that's all. Yep.
What beautiful tributes. Thank you. As I was listening, I couldn't help but think how much Charlotte's legacy is going to live on, because when you become a grandmother, you're going to model yourself on her, so her legacy will live on for generations to come. We talked about changes over time earlier, and it was no different with photos. When Charlotte was young, only professional photographers or photo enthusiasts had cameras until the Vox Brownie came in, followed by Polaroids, and then everyone seemed to have one. You'd put the film into the chemist and nervously wait a week, hoping at least some of them would come out okay. They progressed to colour and then to Instamatics, where the picture appeared in front of your eyes. Now everything is done on your phone and you just delete anything that's not perfect. Having come the full circle, it's now only professionals and camera enthusiasts who actually own cameras. So we're now going to take a look at Charlotte's life in photos and let the photos themselves tell a story in who and what were important in her life, as well as the fashions and the hairstyles over the years.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do, saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Yes, it was my way.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walk a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course I know you. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I could fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. Did I ever tell you you're my hero? You're everything, everything I wish I could be. Oh, and I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. 'Cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Oh, wind beneath my wings. You are the wind beneath my wings. The wind beneath my wings.
days like today that make you realise the importance of photographs. Each one of those photos was taken at a get-together, an occasion, a celebration, or just one moment in time when someone took out the camera and took a happy snap. The lovely thing about photographs is they're like our memories. We have them forever. It will be the little things that will remind you of Charlotte. When the Olympics are on, remembering how much she loved them. If you have one of her framed cross-stick pictures, which will now become treasured keepsakes. When you hear songs played today again. If you go past Berry Street, her home of so many years. When you see The Bold and Beautiful is on. If you go to bingo, Charlotte loved bingo. Or just when you next get together, knowing she's not here. If you feel sadness start to seep in, just close your eyes and breathe. Recall her face, her smile, and the sound of her laughter. Then let the warm glow of her love fill your heart. And so we come to the painful task of our final farewell. We often don't realise the impact someone has had on us until they are no longer there. All those things we took for granted about our relationship with the person are no longer there, and life will never be quite the same again. Charlotte's passing is a very timely reminder to each of us to treasure the precious time that we're given together in each other's presence and to live each day to the full. This is what Charlotte would want you to do. While she would understand your need to grieve, she would also not want for you to let the clouds of grief to darken your days, but rather to remember her with a smile on your face and warmth in your heart. No one knows what happens when we die. Philosophers, religious leaders, and learned people have speculated, but we simply don't know. What we can do, though, is hope. Hope that whatever journey Charlotte has embarked on, she'll be reunited with Jack, Alice, her parents, and all of those she's loved that have gone before her. What a joyful reunion it will be. As we near the end of our service, again on behalf of those who love Charlotte, I offer them most heartfelt thanks for your presence here today, whether online or in the chapel, and the love and support you have given them. I warmly invite those in the chapel to gather together for refreshments, which will be across the way, and where you'll be able to continue to celebrate Charlotte's life in a more relaxed setting. While you are there, in your own time, I would ask you to just stop, look around you and listen. This is what Charlotte loved best, seeing her family and friends together, sharing stories and hopefully having a laugh or two. Then when you leave this place carrying the weight of your farewell, may you find comfort in the enduring power of your love for one another. Let the shared memories, the echoes of laughter, the quiet moments of connection form a warm embrace around you. Draw strength from the knowledge that Charlotte's spirit, her love, her very essence is woven into the fabric of your lives. She will live on in the stories you tell. Though her physical presence is gone, Charlotte's love remains a constant and comforting presence within each of your hearts forever. Before we have our words of farewell, I'd like to share with you a verse written by David Harkin. He wrote it for the Queen Mother's funeral, and given that Charlotte, with a royal name, was the queen of so many hearts, it seems most appropriate to share it today. It's called Moving On. You can shed tears that she has gone, or you can smile because she has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she's left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of the love you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she has gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you could do what she'd want. Smile, open your eyes, love and go on. I would ask if you are able to please stand. Charlotte Jane Hinshelwood, tenderly and reverently we send your body to be given to nature's elements and ultimately to the precious earth, from which all things come unto which all things in life return. Charlotte, you were loved by many and will remain a treasured memory in the hearts of all of those who were privileged to have known you. With great love and respect, we sadly bid you farewell.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When all the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Oh, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Yeah, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Okay. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.